This video is going to demonstrate how to use fields and tables to add to your productivity in AutoCAD. Basically, AutoCAD is a giant database, a graphing calculator, if you will, and it knows everything about your drawing. It knows the beginning and the end point of every line. It knows the center of every circle, the diameter of every circle, the radius, the area. Everything that you need to know is stored somewhere in that database running behind what you see in AutoCAD. And if you know how to access that information, you can easily put it into drawings so that you can display it. And the best thing about it is if your drawing changes, the fields will update as well. So we're going to use fields to display information about drawings, and then we're going to use tables and show you how you can use fields together. So starting off with this drawing that I have here in front of us, I'm going to start off by just kind of adding some notes in here and putting some information into it. So you'll see in the upper right hand corner I have a little table that I've put in here, and I've got two gaskets. I've got this exhaust flange and I've got this this pipe flange right here. So I'm just going to come in here and I'll say, as far as my gaskets go, I've got an exhaust flange. And then I've also got a pipe flange. And then on both of these, I want to know what is my pipe ID. So this would be the ID of the pipe flange, and this would be the pipe ID of the exhaust flange. And again, rather than me having to look that information up, list it, whatever it happens to be, I can simply capture that information and then, change it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to exhaust flange and just click inside of that table, or inside that table, and I'm going to add a field. Now there's a couple different ways of adding fields. On the ribbon you can choose the field button, or you can type Control F and it will bring up this dialog box that says fields. And you can look up any types of this information. So these are all the types of information that you have here. Everything from the author, that would be me, to any comments about a block or something like that. The date that it was created, the file name, so on and so on. We'll look at some of these other ones in a few minutes. But the thing that I'm looking at right now is just an object. I want to know about that circle on the screen. And then the next thing we have to do, and this is not very intuitive about AutoCAD, is you actually just come right over here to this Select Object button. And even though I'm in paper space, I can click through into model space and select that circle. And it tells me, hey, you're looking at a circle, so what do you want to know about it? Do I want to know the area, the center, so on and so on? But what I actually want to know is I want to know the diameter. So I'm going to check diameter right there. And then over here I can get all types of different information. Do I want it in the current units? Do I want it in decimal? Do I want it in architectural? Whatever it happens to be. I'm going to leave it as the current units, which happens to be decimal with 2 places of precision. I'll choose OK, and you'll see if I zoom in on there that it puts the number 3, okay, but it has a gray background. That gray background is just to let you know that that's a field. It is not going to print. If you go into the options dialog box, you can turn that background off if you'd like to. But I like to leave it on because it reminds me, hey, this is a field. It's not just dumb text, but it actually gives me a little bit more information. So again, if I wanted to do the same thing here, I could come in and I could say, let's go in and let's put in another field right here for the other one, the pipe flange. Again, what that looks like is you go to the field dialog box. I'm going to choose object, pick my select object. I'll pick that circle. I want to know the diameter of that circle. Again, it's 3.57. I'll choose OK, and it fills that information in. Now, as far as area goes, if I wanted to, I could actually write a this is basically just like an Excel spreadsheet. So I could say, divide that by 2 and then square it and multiply by pi. I could put that in there, but again, AutoCAD knows everything about your drawing. So if I want to add that in, I'll just simply click here and I'll say, okay, again, I want to add a field. I want, again, that object. So that object is this one over here on the exhaust flange. This time I want the area. I don't want it in architectural, but I'm going to say, decimal. Okay. I can change the precision if I need to. And if I want it to say square inches, I can go down here to additional format, and I could add it in here. I could say suffix of square inches. I don't like to do that. I'll just choose OK there, and then OK. And then what I will usually do, however, is I will come into the header, and I will say that it is in square inches. That way I don't have to put it down here. It leaves that information a little bit easier for me to use. Again, same thing here with this other one. If I needed to know the area of that circle right there, I could simply go to Field, again, Object, pick the object. It's that circle right there, okay? And then say I want to know, again, the area of it and decimal, and say OK, and there it is. Now, if I wanted to know the total area of those two, I don't know why I would, but just to show you that you can come in here and you can add, these fields. If I were to add this field, which is 7.07, plus this field, which is 10.01, it's going to be 17.01. But if either of those information changes, again, these are live. If I were to scale this up, it's going to change it here. It's going to change this value here. Then I would have to come back through and change them all. So what I can do is I can I can create an equation just like you would in Microsoft Excel. I could say equals the sum of, in this case, it's C3 and C4. So C3 to C4, close that parentheses, and you'll see that it puts that area in there. So my total area is 17.08. Now, just to drive this home, let's say that I'm going to jump into model space here, and I'm going to scale this one down. There's my base point, and I will use a reference option, so the distance from there to there. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. I'll make it 1.25. Okay, so obviously I've made that circle a little bit smaller. The diameter is now 2.5. I'll jump back out into model space or paper space. You'll see here that my diameter is still reading as 3, and my area is still reading as 7.07. But if I want to, I can go in and just do a regen, RE, press enter. It redoes all the math in the entire drawing, including what is displayed here. So now it says 2.5, 4.91, and 14.92. So you can see right off the bat that using a field is a little bit faster. Now, fields can also be used for things like your title block. And I'm not going to go through everything on the title block here, but one of the things is this layout. So down here at the bottom, you'll see that I have layout 1. Let's say that this is, if I rename this, I can just name it gasket sizes, right? Oops, better put it in all caps. Okay. And then, so let's say this one is going to be the title of the drawing, which happens to be fields and tables, okay? And then the layout is going to be gasket sizes, just to show you that you can capture those and put them in here. You'll also notice that I've got a few dots here inside my drawing. Those dots are on a no plot layer. They're just points, but I put them on a no plot layer so that they won't show up. It just makes it a little bit easier. And of course, this would be something that you would do in your custom template that you would have. But this time I'm going to use single line text. So I'm going to say I want single line text. It's easiest to place single line text when I've got just one little piece of text. But notice I don't get the changed ribbon, and down here on the command line it does not have a place for me to enter a field. So I'm going to first change my justification. I'll say my J justification is going to be C-centered. Okay, and then it asks me for the center point of the text. So now I'm going to just do a Control F. Oh, I got to pick my center point. My center point is going to be the node Here we go. Where is it? Node right here. So this one's going to be for my title. Height is 0.13. I'm going to make this an 1/8 of or 3/16 of an inch. Rotation angle 0. Okay. So now that I've got my cursor up, now I can do my Control F, brings up my field dialog box. This time I don't want an object, but the thing that I do want is the file name. I want the file name to go in there. And I have some options over here. I could do the entire file name, including all of my, pathway, which I don't want. I could do the file name only, and I could even show the extension, but I don't want that. And I'm going to say I want it in all uppercase. Or I could do title case, where it would be fields, capital A, and tables, right? But I'm just going to do all uppercase. I'll say OK, and it puts that title in there, fields and tables, okay, the same way. Okay, enter to get out of that. So now again, if I save this as a template, it will automatically update this template to whatever the new drawing name is every single time. Same thing with layout. I'm going to go back in here and I will use my single line text again. It's already set for center point, so I'm going to say my center point is the node, that point right there. This time I want it to be an 1/8 of an inch tall. Rotation angle is 0. If I type Control F for field, this time I want my current layer. Okay, now there's a couple different ways to get to this. But if I look on here, there is, there's all these different options. There's sheet states, there's system, but the one I want is a system variable down here at the bottom. And the system variable that I want, again, this is one of those things that you just kind of have to look up or have to know, is C layer, my current layer. Oh, sorry, I don't want current layer, I want my current tab. So let me go down a little bit further. My C tab. I just got to find C tab on my list here. Current profile, there it is, current tab. So my tab name is gasket sizes. Again, I want that in uppercase. I'll say OK, and it puts that information in. Enter once for a cursor return, enter again. I could do the same thing. Let's do one more just for fun to show me the scale inside this viewport. Now, I do have a viewport here, and the viewport is a custom viewport that I made that excludes this shape right here. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to turn the viewport, I'm going to freeze it or thaw it out so you can see it. Okay, so see, I'm inside that viewport. If I want to add one here for that scale on that viewport, it's pretty much the same thing. Again, I'm going to use my single line text. This time I'm going to do left justification. My justification point will be, come on, shift right click. I want that node right there. Height is an 1/8 of an inch. Rotation angle is 0. Control F. Okay, this time I want an object again. So I'm going to go back to object. The object that I actually want to pick is the viewport itself. So I pick that. You'll see that it says, you want to know the viewport. And then you want to know the custom scale. I'm going to use the scale name. I had created this earlier with a scale of 1 to 2. I say OK. And now it automatically fills that in for me. Again, it's all completely updatable. This one saves me a lot of time. Enter once for a cursor return, enter twice, gives me out of it, right? If I come back in here now and I jump in here, unlock my viewport, if I change this to a 1-to-1, it's obviously going to be too big, but do a regen and you'll see how my scale changes. So 3 easy changes there that you can make in your borders and title strips. Add those fields, use them. They're going to save you lots of time in the long run. If you have any questions or you want me to make any you want me to make a video for you, just send me a comment. Let me know what it is that you want me to do.